Hello and welcome to your Wednesday webinar. My name is Jared Cribbs. I'm live in San Antonio, Texas. And before we bring on our guest for today, I want to remind you of 10 things to expect when building your USANA business. Number one, there will be ups and downs, just like anything. Number two, success or failure is up to you. If you succeed, it's because of you. If you fail, it's because of you, not the person who invited you to USANA. Number three, the goal is for you to become independent and be an independent leader for your team. Number four, make your plan on the weekends. Do it, review it, and make adjustments. Plan, do, review, adjust. Number five, it's going to take time. It's going to take 1 year to become competent in the skill sets to do this. It's going to take 3 years to develop a significant part-time income, 5 years to develop a significant full-time income, and 7 years to become world-class. It can happen faster, but it's going to take time. Number six, it takes consistent work and hustle. Number seven, you're going to have to grow and get outside of your comfort zone. Number eight, mental toughness is necessary. Number nine, the grass is not greener in other companies. I've seen people leave USANA and never make what they made in their USANA business. And number 10, this is a long-term game. USANA is 27 years strong with over $2.5 billion paid out to its associates. It's given me and my wife a full-time income for over a decade, as well as thousands of others who make a full-time income with USANA, and hundreds of thousands have made a part-time income with USANA because it works if you work. And the bonus tip is amateurs sell products, but professionals sell the vision. Make sure that you're inviting your guests and your clients onto this webinar, sharing these links, because USANA is so much more than just a great product, a great community, financial stability, financial freedom, and personal growth and development. And few have done it as well as Sue-Ann Knoblauch out of San Antonio. She is currently trending right now in the top United States client enrollers. This takes to be in this part of the company, you have to be consistent for an entire year and have all types of client enrollments. And Sue-Ann has done that in her first year. So we wanted to bring her on, have her share her story. Sue-Ann, thank you so much for being on today. Thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule. And we want to hear what your first year has been like. What were some of the challenges you've had to overcome? What was your life like before USANA? And what's your life like today thanks to your business? Welcome, Sue-Ann.
Yeah, thank you, Jared. And I want to let you know that it's a real privilege to have been working with you for the last 11 months. I'm not even at a year yet, believe it or not. And
That's
it's
awesome.
a real privilege to be able to share my little story here. I mean, you know, who doesn't like to share their story, right? And,
Right. We want to hear it. We want to hear it.
Yeah, so I'm actually going to go back to you know, kind of tell you the past, present, future, like you said, and if we go back to where, when I was a little girl, even I was kind of like higher powered, guided, and basically now when I look back, I didn't always know I was, but that it is really, I've kind of crafted my life a certain way, and so. As you all know, I'm a RN case manager, and so what happened in the growing up time was figuring out what I wanted to do with my life, and I was always into like self-help books and things like that. So I've you know, had a real penchant for that as time went on. And for a little while I was in the Army as a nurse, and that was really good, but I just didn't feel like that was for me. So I actually would visualize and try to figure out what I wanted to do. So it kind of fell in my lap, and that's sort of how this visualization thing works, is that this case management type of work came in. And so actually I wear you know, business casual clothes now. I don't put on bandages. I'm not wearing scrubs anymore. And this has been since 1993. So I had quite a few years of doing this. And the reason why I crafted this, and this is what I wanted, was that I have a whole bunch of good benefits from this kind of work, where I don't have to check in at an office. I am like my own self-starter. I have my own caseload. No one's looking over my shoulder. And basically the more you work, the more you can earn. So there was a lot of really good things, as you could see, about this line of work, that why I've never left that. But I would say probably even through this time, I just knew that I wanted something more. And I tried several multi-level marketing things. I tried Amway, Nerium. I mean, I could kind of do like a list. I think there were 5. One was even insurance, believe it or not. And I went and got an insurance. I took an insurance test. Couldn't believe I passed it. But anyway, on all of those, I really had no support. One of them, my support was Spanish speaking, and they were in Miami, and I'm in San Antonio, Texas. So there were a lot of barriers. And I remember on one of them, I made $9. So, in that year. So, basically, you just kind of fade away. And no one was saying any way of how to do it, how to make it a business. I suppose there were books I probably could have, reached out on my own, but to really have that upline support of human beings telling you, and they've been there, they walked the walk, and that's been hugely important. So I'm gonna tell just real quick the little story of how Jared and I met, and which is really very funny. So we share the same spiritual practice book, that is not a religion, but anyway, it's spiritual. And so we happened to go to the same workshop for a particular author, and it was down by the coast in Texas over here. And I remember I'd asked the gal that was running it, anybody coming from San Antonio? No, no one's coming. So I arrived, and they said, oh, at the last minute, yeah, a couple people signed up. And of course, one was Jared and one was Twyla, who I'm also still friends with up in Canada. And so it was really meant to be. But the funny thing is, at the time, we were so involved with doing this class and listening to this guy speak that it was not much more between Jared and I than, oh, yeah, let's share Facebook, pages, names, so we're connected, that kind of thing. So then perhaps, I think that was in October of 2017. So in November, I think it was, about a month later, I got the little text, I'm excited about something, I'm working on something exciting. Would you be, open to taking a look? I'm kind of paraphrasing there, but, and then, so my initial reaction was, no way. I'd been through these other ones. It was like, not another one. So then the cool thing though was that I found myself on Facebook a lot, but as I call it, like wasting time on Facebook. I just get caught on there. 2 hours later, I'm like, oh my God, I haven't even like pet the dog, looked at my husband, said hi to my son. And it was, I was going through that. So, but then Jared would keep popping up there. He was really consistent. He'd be doing Facebook Lives. And I was like, wow, he's kind of like a nice guy. He's really there. He doesn't quit. And he wasn't talking about the business. He was talking about just all sorts of other things. He was diligent. Someone was up, like it's 11 o'clock at night and I got to get a Facebook Live in. And so I was like, oh, this is awesome. So anyway, my subconscious kind of wouldn't even admit that I wanted to do the business. So the funny thing was, I asked my my friend, hey, do you want to get like on a 3-way call with him? And this time, like I'll be the I'll be the distributor, associate, it has different names, but I'll be that person. And then you be under me, because it was the opposite in the last one that neither one of us had success with. So she's like, okay, and so we got on the phone. Well, really what it came down to is that she didn't want to do it. And to this day, she still doesn't. I follow up with her, but that's fine. That's just where she is in her life. But the funny thing was, it was really me the whole time that wanted to do it. And so, this growth process of sort of like blossoming and realizing, oh, it's me. I'm the one that wants to do it. So I joined up, I got the biggest package, the skincare line, and everything, right? So started to use everything, and literally, okay, the first time I took just the Cell Essentials 2 and 2, within 2 hours, I felt like a huge increase in my energy. And I was like, oh, now there's something really to this. I probably kind of wanted it more for the business, but isn't it wonderful that the product's good too? Now you have really something to talk about. And so did that. I've noticed in talking to people, not everybody gets that particular reaction. So I'm a lucky one, and many other health benefits. My blood work normalizing, skin getting better, I'm trying to think. Oh, I'm just now noticing that like through this allergy season, I cut out half of my allergy meds. I might have been able to cut them all out, but I was a little nervous, but we'll see how it goes. And then like the antacids, the Zantac and the Prilosec, I have cut back half on that. And pretty much now I take almost every single product that they make. I got my son on a health pack, husband on Cell Essentials, and some of the male ones. So he's doing really great. And so yeah, and husband, it's really kind of cool too, because like I'm building this on my own. It's like the self-development story extraordinaire. I just have grown so much in 11 months. And what's been really neat in a way is it's been me building it. Although I have a husband who's very supportive, it has been like the two of us. And there's like a real beauty to that, because then I'm not like, hey, honey, you do this, or I don't want to do this, or you step up to the plate. And so it's had to be me to step forward. And he's loving that it's making regular checks. One of the big reasons why I wanted to do it was the residual income, and that was the big deal too, that, in with my RN case manager day job, that, there's only so much of me. So I can only earn so much. There is a cap. A lot of times I push the limits pretty good, but that's it. So this, believe it or not, even in my little checks that I get that are very consistent, there is residual already built in there, because I have a whole bunch of people on auto order. So I am not like, I talk to them here and there, but it's not like a bunch of work, so it's really like flows in without me putting more time. Because literally I do not know where I would put another thing in my life right now. It is so full up. And I feel joyous. That's just really full, which is awesome. So my future is what I'm looking at is I want, the day job to scale down and the USANA to go up, and eventually, the day job go away. And then there I am with so, and not the other way. So, so I just keep being consistent. I've been especially in the beginning, I was on a real role of getting a customer like every week, for like 32 weeks or something. So it's been quite a role, and now it's getting a little harder. But recently, we just heard somebody talking about when you get out in the boat, and you got to cast your line, but if you just sit there holding the reel, you're in the boat, you've got a business, but nothing's happening. So I have literally been casting my line. Now, a lot of times I cast it out there and like they're biting minnows, but I put a worm on, so like nobody's biting. So I'm trying different things, casting over here, casting over there. And so I do Facebook, I talk to neighbors, I talk to family. I'm just all over the place. And that's what seems to be working for me now. And I don't know how long I've talked, but that's my little story for right now.
I love it. I love it. So what I'm hearing you say is that you're doing all types of different ways, and you're just like, when the intention is clear, the mechanism appears. That's one thing I learned along the way. And your intention is like way clear. So sometimes the mechanism is Facebook, sometimes the mechanism is talking to a neighbor, sometimes it's talking to family, whatever it is. Your intention stays clear, so you kind of will adjust, and that's very obvious just because of all the people you've been enrolling. And it's so exciting to hear about also your health story, how the products have impacted you and your family, and not only that, but the money you're making, the taxes you're saving on. All this is so exciting. So can you share with us, and I'm going to ask a couple questions, but those of you who are live right now, can you also type in your questions in the chat for Sue Ann, and I will read them and ask her live right now. And if you're watching on Facebook Live viewers, go ahead and type in your question as well, and I will ask it to Sue Ann. So Sue Ann, what were some of the main challenges that you had to overcome to stay consistent, or like, how do you solve certain challenges? What are they? We want to know, because everyone goes through challenges.
Yes, yeah. So I think some of the biggest challenges is, inside my own head, between my ears, and, you will find like more of an emotional roller coaster, so it's like, oh, I have a person, then I feel so blessed, but that only lasts for a few hours. And then, you could easily go into like the next day, well, I haven't gotten anyone today, and then kind of get down in yourself, and you have to pull yourself out of that. One of the big things, oh, and then you get a lot of no's too. So this is one of the big things I've learned is that if I get a no, or every once in a while there's even a nasty person that is just kind of mean. But when you're getting no's, if I keep that, we call it like the funnel, if I keep a lot of people like, oh, I'm going to be talking to this one. And then, oh yeah, I forgot. I met that neighbor down the street, hadn't talked to her in 6 months. Let me bring it up to her. Because see, I usually try to like have like a little experience of just talking and sharing, and then come back to them. Hey, it was great talking to you Tuesday, and then go more into, business products, things like that. And getting Jared on 3-way calls, that is a whole nother thing of working through. So if I get no's, nobody wants to get on the call, then I just like a whole bunch more people, and it feels like a fresh new set of opportunities. And that keeps me very positive then, and out of that doldrum, two people said no, get out of that.
So you're saying that having new people constantly in the funnel keeps you from getting like depressed about your business, because it's the new possibilities of whatever that new person might react.
Yes, exactly.
Awesome. Okay.
And
go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, and also what's really cool is that like sometimes you'll be building these relationships, and like recently a neighbor bought, and I had told her prior to a husband having a shoulder surgery, just talking on the street about the products, and I just went like right for products, because warm market, and they were like, oh, okay, whatever, Well, then I saw her in her garden a couple weekends ago, and then it was just the right timing. And so sometimes like you're building these things, and you may think that they're not going to ever buy or be interested, and yeah, you just really never know. And especially sometimes when you're feeling maybe down about it, and all of a sudden something just pops, a person wants something. So
really totally. And that's because you filled your funnel so full. I like to equate it to, I watch sports, and when the teams are behind like 10 points or even 20 points, but they keep playing the game, they keep doing the activities, they keep just kind of grinding through the process, and sometimes they come back and they win the game. But if they would have been defeated when it didn't look so good, they would have never gotten to themselves in that position for the breakthrough. And this really kind of reminds me of being an athlete in a way. And you are a great elite athlete, Sue-Ann. I love working with you. All right, we have our first question. Marcus Hicks from Colorado. He says, hey, Sue-Ann, I'm Marcus. Nice to meet you. My question is for you is, how has USANA changed your life and health? And what were the major changes that you expected?
Okay. Yeah, like I said, I kind of touched on some of that with, the Essentials especially, they have helped my skin, helped my energy, and I was mentioning how like I had a couple borderline conditions that you could see in the blood results, and those have normalized. The first time that I went to the doctor about that, I jokingly said, did you switch my blood up with somebody else, because they've been bugging me for 10 years, get your sugar better, and oh, now your thyroid is getting a little off. And I really think that, see, I also hadn't been able to be on a vitamin for another health reason I won't even get into, but for a while. But this one has the correct kind of vitamin C that I can take. So when I started taking this, I really believe I'm getting like all the building blocks. So now my own body can make the things that it needs. And I feel like if my skin is better, then that means like, my arteries and my veins, everything inside my organs, those tissues have improved too. I mean, you can't see in there, but it's got to be happening. So does that answer your question?
Yeah, I think it did. I just love what you have to say about feeling good. Like, it's so good to feel good. And the fact that USANA had the right exact vitamin C that you needed, and the different ones that your body could assimilate. I mean, what a blessing to find that. I'm not like a scientific person, but whenever I have one that does look at the label and look at every little thing, and they're all so pleasantly surprised, I'm like, thank you, Dr. Wentz, for making the product so good that I don't have to necessarily think about anything, and just that our clients are so happy when they read the labels. So that's very exciting.
Right, exactly.
All right. So I also wanted to ask a question about advice. Like, what advice do you have for people who are in their first year, who are kind of, maybe they're not bringing in as many clients as you are, but they're wanting to? What advice do you think you would like to share with them?
Yeah, I would kind of go back to the consistency idea and do some every day. And literally, sometimes it's only like 1 or 2 hours that I have because, the day job can get kind of long. And so I fit in little things. I look at my Facebook first thing in the morning, but it might be 5, 10 minutes. And then I might do an hour later in the evening, but fit it in, do things, and get over the fear of talking to people. I'm a pretty verbal person, but there's still that fear, uh, and it's about like going inside and feeling that I am worth it. So this is where the self-development stuff comes in. And through each interaction you grow with all of that. And then, like I said, every once in a while someone's mean, or they just say no, and you just realize that's where they are, and that's okay. So you have to let that go. So there's a lot of this internal emotional stuff going on that you're learning to deal with and growing.
Thank you for bringing that up, because yeah, we all deal with it. There's just disappointment that kind of comes with talking to a lot of people, and going through a certain number of people that you have to be at peace with. And I'm appreciative that you're bringing that up, just so that it can be said, that we all go through it. And even if you're a top client enroller like yourself, it's like you're still dealing with or forgiving, situations and growing through them. And that's just part of being successful. So thank you for sharing that.
Hmm. Probably for every one I got, there would have been at least 10 no's.
Hey, that's a great thing. For every yes she's had, and she's had a lot of yeses, she's probably gotten 10 no's. So she's gotten a lot more no's. All right, we have a next question from Mike Robinson in Missouri. Mike asks, first off, I'm proud of you, and I'm so pleased I know you. My question is, what do you do with people who you previously did not know on Facebook? And that's a really cute dress.
Thank you. Thank you. Yes, I know. I like the color. I think it makes me look good, especially since I had a son over the weekend. But yeah, so tell me the question again. So now I'm thinking about saying hi to everybody.
what, what do you do with people who you previously did not know on Facebook?
Yes, so I do the whole DMO process. You pretty much wrote the way it is, and that Jared does. So I started by going into Facebook groups, and that's where I met people that I had no clue who they were, but I had some commonality with them. And now really, so that's the other part I didn't even talk about. So I am doing, like, trying to do 3 Facebook lives a week. And so I have sort of a presence out there now because I've been doing this pretty steady since November. So what are we talking, 6 months?
Mm-hmm.
And what's happened is that I get a lot of people that are friending me now. My count has gone up, how many friends I have, how many people are following me. That's all really improved. And then there's that little section where, people you may know. I believe, isn't that true, Jared? Those are the folks that are kind of looking at you like, who's that? And so I go into all of those, I go into those, and then I comment a little bit, but then I right away get them over to Messenger, and I talk to them about, like, I like your profile, and how long have you been a seamstress, or how long have you been studying A Course in Miracles, or whatever the heck we're talking about, and get a little conversation, and over a couple of days, watching how that goes. Sometimes it dies out. Sometimes they look and they never say anything. So I write all that down. This one, didn't look. And then I go back to those, and if it's sort of ripened and it's a good conversation, then I say, hey, I'm working on something exciting. It may or may not be for you. That kind of lets them off the hook. And then would you be open to taking a look? And that word open is really important, because it just feels like, oh, I have choices, and I don't know. It just feels good.
So,
and then, yeah, so
go ahead.
I've really
Go ahead.
gotten
This is great. Keep going.
No, I'm just saying, so I've had, a few that I didn't know at all, that then have become clients. So that is probably one of the hardest markets, because they don't see you at all. But if they can see me on a Facebook Live, then oh, wow, she has integrity. She's a real person, a feeling person, all those type of things. I think that's really important for them to get to know me, those that, have no other way, because they're in New Hampshire or they're in Washington or whatever,
That's a pro tip. Those Facebook Lives create trust, and people that are watching you from around the country who maybe, oh, is she real or not? Is this person a scammer? Then they see you talk on a Facebook Live, and they see you're authentic, and they see that you're vulnerable, and they see that you share your life and your heart and whatever, or you teach them something, or you entertain them, and they say, oh, okay, she's cool. And then they see you again the next day, and then they see you again 2 days later, and before you know it, they're really open to your invite because they trust you, right? So, and live video is the highest form of currency on social media. So if you would, like $100 bill would be a Facebook Live, and like a $50 bill would be a recorded video, and a $20 bill would be a picture, and a $10 bill would just be text. That's your currency, right? So you're putting out those Benjamins, Sue Ann, and super proud of you. That's awesome. We have a question from a Facebook Live viewer. This is Rula Flame from Palm Desert, California. He's actually a legacy associate, been with USANA over 20 years. He asks, how are you going to grow your business with the new 10% bonus?
Oh, wow. Yeah. So we should bring that up, right? Everything just changed on Monday. And, so of course, first I put out, texted all the people I already have, letting them know about differences. And if there was any time that they thought about joining in, and even if they just sold to their sister and their mother, they could start getting a check right away, and you have to wait for points to build up. And so these have kind of been the words that I've been using. And I think at the moment I've got somebody already interested, and we're going to, give a few more exposures and see where that goes. So that's how I'm doing it, because it's just awesome, that people can get rewarded right away. And it's cheaper to get in. Oh my gosh, so it's just amazing.
It's a very exciting time, for sure. And thank you for asking that question, Rue, as well. That's USANA is changing with the times and staying relevant in this industry. And it's exciting to be part of a company that is willing to pay out more and give more to its associates, so that the associates can grow and ultimately everybody wins. So yes, absolutely. All right, so we have come upon the half hour. Can you believe it? Time flies when you're having fun. So Sue Ann, what is your last piece of advice you want to give to anybody who may be watching this recording in the future, and the people watching right now? What's the biggest piece of advice you want to give?
Oh, the biggest piece of advice, be consistent. And that is really, really the key. Yeah, and not let a few weeks or months go by with nothing happening. It's harder to get restarted, get that momentum. Like you've stopped your bike, you got to get that pedaling all going again. The only other thing I was going to say is read books, so I've got my GoPro going here. And then I have this cool book from 1910, The Science of Getting Rich. Amazing. These principles are still really good. So I'm always reading and watching. I watch so little television now, so get into learning. Mm-hmm.
Oh, I love it. So consistency and personal development. Consistency of your DMO and personal development. Awesome. Well, Sue Ann, thank you again for your time. Thank you for always showing up, playing full out, being a professional, being a great example to the team. I love you. I love working with you. It is so awesome having you in our life. And everybody, let's go ahead and unmute the lines and say thank you, Sue-Ann, and have an awesome day.
Thank you, Sue-Ann.
Thank you,
Have an
Sue-Ann.
awesome
Have an
day.
awesome day.
Bye.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye.